Hey guys, it's Cece, and today I am here to talk about my TBR for the Queer Lit Readathon. In case you somehow don't know, the Queer Lit Readathon is a readathon focused on reading queer lit. It's right there in the title. I have participated in most of the full rounds of the Queer Lit Readathon. It's one of my absolute favorite things on the entire internet. I absolutely adore it. I absolutely also adore the two regular hosts of the Queer Lit Readathon, Kathy and Rogan Shannon. If you haven't checked out their channels already, please do. Also, every single round of the Queer Lit Readathon has a guest host, and for this round there are two guest hosts, Rebecca and Sarah from the Tea Hags. All of these lovely people are queer and create queer content on BookTube, so please go support them. I also wanted to use this video to sort of launch a thing I'm going to be doing on my channel all June long. June, if you don't know, is Pride Month. It's going to be very queer-centric on my channel. It always is, but you know, I always bump it up a little bit in June. So this is going to be the first of my videos this year that are going to include links to other queer creators down in the description below. Every single video that I upload from now to the end of June is going to contain a list of different booktubers for every video, but they are queer content creators that you can go watch and support. I wanted to do this because I take the influence I have on BookTube very seriously. I take the number of subscribers I have very seriously, and I'm very aware of how that places me in BookTube, and so I do all I can to uplift voices from smaller channels. I think it is something essential and easy that creators with a wider reach can do. So of course there will be links to all of the hosts of the Queer Lit Readathon down in the description below. I am also going to shout out all of the former guest hosts from the Queer Lit Readathon, which include some of my very favorite people on the entire planet, so please check the description if you are looking for more queer content creators to follow, and be sure to check the description of all of my videos for the next month or so, because there's always going to be new voices for you to support. But with that out of the way, we can talk about my reading plans for the Queer Lit Readathon, which is happening from June 31st. Not June 31st. It's happening from May 31st through June 6th in your own time zone. There is also a bingo board. Every single round has a bingo board. This is this round's. I have 6 books on my TBR, which actually get me blackout on the board. One of the other things that's happening in June is that I am reading one book every single day in June, so this is going to be the beginning of that. But let's talk about my 6 books, and I will tell you which categories I believe they check off on this bingo board. So first up, we have this round of Queer Lit Readathon's group read. That is This Is What It Feels Like by Rebecca Barrow. I happened to already own a copy of this book. I bought it a couple of months ago, and I'm very excited to read it for this round of Queer Lit Readathon. This is a YA contemporary about 3 girls who used to be in a band together, and they are sort of working on being a band again in order to compete in this competition. The reward is 15 grand, and all 3 of these girls are going through a bunch of really drastic life things. One of them is a teen mom, there are mentions of a stint in rehab, and one of the main characters is a lesbian, and that character has a female-female relationship. I have been super psyched to read this book. It was on my most anticipated releases list the year it came out, so I think it's a great group read. I also tentatively have this as a summer vibes book, so I'm not sure if this has summer vibes, but just looking at the cover, it gives me summer vibes. We'll see. It's so funny, I was watching Adriana's TBR video right before I filmed this, and we are reading one book in common, and we are counting it for all 3 of the same challenges. It's just what happens. We mind meld. So the next book I'm planning to read is Check Please, Book 2, Sticks and Scones by Ngozi Ukazu. I, like Adriana, have been waiting to read this book until we hit June. Even though it's one of my favorite series in the world, I've been feeling like I need to really set aside a time to consume the end of this story. I have read most of this before because I've been reading live updates of Check Please, but the last few updates I haven't read yet, so probably like that much, that's it. But I've maintained no spoilers, so I'm very excited to read this. This is a sequel to the first one, which is called #hockey. That is about a former figure skater slash amateur baker vlogger named Eric Biddle. He goes to his first semester at Samwell University and joins the Samwell men's hockey team and starts to maybe fall for a brooding team captain. I'm counting this for the graphic novel category for the 5-star prediction category and for queer sports. You could also probably count this for the queer friends. There are other queer side characters in this book, but I have another book that's counting for queer friends, so I'm very eager to get to this. I'm probably gonna sob through it. I always cry reading, check please. Next up, I wanted to mention a poetry collection, and that is Goddess of the Hunt by Shelby Eileen. This is poetry about the Greek goddess Artemis. It is very aromantic, asexual, like Artemis is Arrow Ace, and it is a purely Arrow Ace poetry collection. I read Soft in the Middle by Shelby Eileen in March or April. And I loved it, and I've had Goddess of the Hunt on my TBR for ages, so I'm really excited to read this. I'm counting this as the poetry book for, you know, the poetry challenge, and then I'm also using this as one of my blank space options. For this blank space, I want to put mythology in that little corner with the question marks. I don't have any other mythology to read, but I thought mythology is a fun, like, challenge. So Goddess of the Hunt is also for the question mark category. Next up, I want to talk about Something to Talk About by Meryl Wilsner. This is one of my most hyped releases of the entire year. I recently got this through Arcs for Trade on Twitter. I was trading away a bunch of my arcs. This got sent to me. It is out now. It just came out this week. It is about a Hollywood powerhouse who gets caught making her assistant Emma laugh on the red carpet, and immediately everyone starts speculating that they're in a relationship together, which is not coming at a good time for either one of them. But through some situations, they start to fall for each other. Anyway, this is counting for a female over 40. One of the main characters of this book is 41, I believe. I believe one of the main characters of this is bi and one is a lesbian, but I'm not 100% sure on that rep. That is to say, I'm not sure that one of them is a lesbian. One of them is bi, for sure, and this is also counting for the bi main character category. I'm very excited. This is Berkeley's first ever female-female romance, and I think I'm gonna like it. I hope so. Second to last, we have Mean Little Deaf Queer, a memoir by Terry Galloway. This is a non-fiction book about Terry growing up queer and deaf. I have had this on my TBR for a while. I've really, really wanted to read it. It has some incredible reviews on Goodreads, and I was immediately grabbed by this title. I think that it is brash and open in a way that I really admire. So this is counting for the nonfiction category. I'm also counting this. You could count this for the disabled main character category. I have another book that suits that as well, so either one. I'm also tentatively putting this in the rainbow cover category. I think it's mostly blue. The last book I'm going to show you is also, there's a lot of blue on it. I wasn't 100% sure on this. If I feel like throughout the week, maybe I'm not suiting it as well as I should, I have Bloom by Kevin Panetta, which is another graphic novel, and that is like perfectly blue. So for now, we're going to put this as the rainbow cover. But I just bought this specifically for this readathon, so really, really eager to get to it. And the last book that I have is another one that I bought specifically for the Queer Lit Readathon, and that is Otherbound by Corinne Doyvis. This is about two characters who start sharing a brain space, basically. It's about a girl named Amara who is in a fantasy world and a boy named Nolan who is in our world, and they live inside each other's brains and they've never been able to communicate, and then suddenly they gain that ability to communicate with one another, and it becomes a story of them wanting to disconnect but also, you know, bonding over this strange thing that they share. This is a host recommendation. Kathy recommended it. She's recommended it in videos before. It was also recommended on the Queer Lit Readathon Instagram. I wanted to read this because it's recommended constantly for books that remind people of the TV show Sense8, which is one of my favorite shows ever, and I've been chasing a book that gives me Sense8 vibes. This does have a bi main character, so it could fit for that, but I'm using something to talk about for that challenge. This also has queer friends. It is not a coming out story, and it is a backlist title, I believe, from 2017, plus one of the main characters in this is disabled, so this could also fit for that category. Basically, Otherbound is holding this entire TBR up. This is the essential brick in the Queer Lit Readathon TBR pyramid. I need to read Otherbound, or I am not accomplishing this blackout. So yeah, very excited to read this. I have read one of Corinne's books before, On the Edge of Gone, which has an Own Voices autistic protagonist, and I really loved it. It's an excellent book, so can't wait to read another book by Corinne. So there we are. We have these books plus A Goddess of the Hunt on my TBR for the Queer Lit Readathon. Cross your fingers for me that I can get Blackout, and cross your fingers for me that I'm going to accomplish this 30 books in 30 days thing that I've decided to try to do. If you are participating in the Queer Lit Readathon, please let me know down in the comments below, and let me know some of the books on your TBR. I would love to hear what other people are reading for this round. I will definitely be vlogging this week of reading queer titles. I will hopefully be participating in a bunch of the stuff online. So thank you so much to the hosts for hosting this round. It always gets me so hyped to get into Pride reading. Other than that, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye!